My name is Emma. I am a licensed clinical social worker and also the manager of the Resource Center here at CEL. And I'm kind of the reason, I guess, that we're bringing all these speaker series out. And the purpose behind that was when we did a survey back when I first joined CEL back in March of last year, which I can't believe it's almost a year. We wanted to find out what some of the things were that families and community members were really looking for information on. And housing was definitely one of the things. How do we become independent? How do I help my loved one become independent? How do we figure out this housing? What do we do? And so in true social work fashion, I figured there had to be other people out there that knew the answers and that I didn't need to figure it out all by myself. So enter our speakers. So tonight we're going to have Milan speaking on some different aspects of housing. So just keep in mind, she doesn't know everything about all things housing. This is definitely an aspect of it. But if you have questions and they're outside of what she can answer and you want to meet with me individually to kind of create an individual housing plan or anything else, talk about trusts, talk about insurances, looking at different aspects of either your own or your family member's needs, that's what we're here to do. So I do individual sessions from a case management standpoint, and then we also offer mental health services. So I meet with our members here at CEL and also community members individually to provide mental health services. It's kind of what we're doing right now. We're hoping to expand our services in the coming months, years, to offer all sorts of other things as well. So kind of keep your eye on what we're doing. If you're not familiar with CEL in general, we have a lot of different programs to offer. I'm not going to take all your time tonight because I know that's not what you're here for, but if you have questions, we will be over here to answer them. To give you a quick idea, we have social rec programs, we have day programs, we have our current information over there right now with our program guide. We do still have some openings in some of our programs, so if you have questions, please let us know. We also have an employment program. We have our Catalyst program, which is our life skills program. And we also we've been rolling back out now since COVID is gone. We've been rolling back out some of our vacations. So that's something that we're also doing now with some limited things coming up and then also some day trips. So any questions you have on any of those services, please let any of us know over here from Community Engagement or myself, and we'll be happy to connect you with that person. Without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Milan so she can talk to you about what Aspire has to offer.
Thank you all so much. Can you all hear me okay? Thumbs up? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Emma, and thank you, CEL, for having us. I am Milan. I'm the Outreach Ambassador for Aspire, and we provide a plethora of services, and it's great that we're able to come here, work with other organizations, expand our referral network, and share information and answer your questions. So we have a little presentation here today, and then I believe we'll have some time for maybe some questions at the end. So as I shared, we are Aspire. We were founded in 1960. We have an incredibly talented and dedicated team over at Aspire where we serve nearly 250 people with disabilities year-round. And we have supports across the Chicago metropolitan area as well as Lake County. So you can see our map here. We've got a couple different dots going on in the lower part of the map. That's our locations in the Cook County western suburbs where we have a day program center. That's one of our blue dots that you can see at the bottom. And then we also have another blue dot there where our headquarters are located, not too far from each other in Hillside, Illinois. And then in the surrounding area, you're going to see some orange dots. That's where we have our community homes. You may hear the term Community Integrated Living Arrangement, or CILA. Those are some of the locations where we have them in the Cook County area. Franklin Park, Forest Park, Maywood, LaGrange, Brookfield, Westchester, but they're all within around a 10 to 15 mile radius of that day program center. And then we have a similar setup up in Lake County where we have a day program center in Waukegan, so that's the blue dot there. And then in the surrounding area, you can see some orange dots again. That's where we have our CILAs. So Zion, Grays Lake, Winthrop Harbor, and we're hoping to expand in the Lake County area as well. So we've got some other interesting services before we dive into our main programs that we offer. We do make sure that we expand out into the community and outside of our typical service platforms. We do have an art program called Art 360, where artists with disabilities are able to make a livable wage and sell their artwork across the community. So that's a great creative program that we have. And we also have a coffee brand, Aspire Coffee Works, where we sell coffee online. But we partner with Metropolis, which is out of Chicago. We employ adults with disabilities, and they're able to bring some really delicious coffee to the community. So we're out in the community, making sure that people with disabilities have opportunities like anyone else would, and continuing to expand. So to jump into our programs, we've got a couple different service areas that we focus on. We've got living, learning, and working. So I'll go through each one, explain our services, and then if you have questions, of course, make sure to note them because we can go back and go through those things. So to start with the living department, we're here for housing. So we do offer community homes. We have what's called community integrated living arrangements, or CILAs. And we also, there's a more independent level called intermittent CILA. That's another offering that we have. But to share a little bit about the community homes at first, this is an environment with welcoming roommates, a comfortable living situation, and we're sharing our experiences as we're growing. So like I said, we have those homes in the Cook County western suburbs and Lake County as well. In Cook County, our homes do have stairs, so they're sort of like a city flat style. So let's say each floor is its own apartment. Each floor would have, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, like I said, the bedrooms, bathrooms, a living room on the floor. Each floor has its own laundry facilities, and each home is equipped with, of course, the support, 24/7 support. So that would come from the direct support professionals that provide care within the home. We also have wonderful team leads that are taking care of the home maintenance, grocery shopping, all of those wonderful things. And then there's also the case management team that's making sure all the other areas of your life are going smoothly. So like I said, CILA is 24/7 care. It's an environment where you are living with roommates, so there's typically around 5 to 7 roommates for around 3 to 4 individuals, support individuals for that home. And everyone is working on their personal goals as well as shared goals. So everyone's on their own personal independence journey, learning their own skills, but it's great to be able to do that in community with other adults that are also, on a similar journey or a similar path as yourself. And this is just a quote from one of our individuals that receive services and their family members. Aspire has been such a great experience for my son. I'm glad he's made his home here. And that's something that we really strive to make possible at Aspire. We want everyone to know that, when they come to Aspire, this is their home. And we want them to feel within their heart that it's their home as well. So as I mentioned, we have 24-hour care, but we also have an intermittent option. So we have some people who may start at this intermittent option based on, previous goals that they've accomplished or support systems that they have. We have some people who start off in 24/7 care and would maybe make that transfer to the more intermittent option. But this is an option where you have 15 to 20 hours of care per week instead of that 24/7 care. So if you have someone who maybe, like I said, they've achieved independence goals within their life, they're ready for maybe a solo independence journey with or without roommates, but they don't need that 24/7 support, this is also an option that we offer that's available with funding as well. So before I jump into learning, I'll share that our housing services are funded by the Department of Human Services. There are, of course, a lot of details that go along with this, so we're here to support. Like Emma said, I know there's lots of pieces, that can mesh with all the programs that you may be looking into. So along with the support that Emma can provide, feel free to reach out to us if there's any complications or questions that you have. But the funding for housing is typically, like I said, going to come from the Department of Human Services. Some of you may have heard of the term PUNS listing or the PUNS list. It's a list for individuals who are seeking housing within the state of Illinois. If you are not yet on that list and would need more information, like I said, please reach out to me. I'll have my cards and email, and I can share how you would go about doing so, but there is funding available for our housing services and a plethora of housing services across the state of Illinois. And Funding is also available for some of our services that are under the learning category. So we'll go over some of our day program services and then the life skills coaching that also goes in part with our housing as well. So as I said on that map, we've got those 2 blue dots. So we have the Waukegan and then the Hillside location where we have day program centers. Both of them have life enrichment centers. So when I'm speaking of life enrichment, I'm speaking of both Lake County and Cook County. There's an additional program in Cook County that I'll get to in a bit. But as I said, the life enrichment program, it's a great space to have fun while you're also working on your goals in community with other adults. Many of the adults or individuals who live within our homes will also be participating in a day program during the day, whether that's full-time or part-time. So some are there, like I said, Monday through Friday. Other people may have jobs, other opportunities, special rec programs that they're a part of. So they can also have a part-time schedule where they attend as well. But here we have art, we have dance, music, horticulture, many of the same programs that you probably have here, some of the fun experiences that you'd have with other adults we're able to have within this environment while also practicing independence-based skills, our social skills, daily living management, and whatever would be, personal to your independence journey. And I'm going to skip to talk about our Career Academy because that's the service that's offered in addition in the Cook County location that we have. So our Hillside Day Program Center, we do have what's called the Career Academy. So alternative to the life skills that we're practicing, if you have someone who needs to build some foundational job skills, this is an environment where you can do so. We replicate a couple different industries. So you can see we have like hotel and hospitality industry, retail, warehouse, like a sports environment as well. But it's a place where you can practice these skills. You're coming to the day program. You have transportation from your home to the day program. And then if you're at the point where you'd like to pursue employment, that's an option. We have some people who are not going to pursue employment, but these skills are still important to them personally. So they're still able to remain in the program and work through those skills. So it's a great place to practice your independence journey within the Cook County area as well. So jumping back to our other learning services, we also offer life skills coaching for some of our friends who maybe aren't ready to make that leap of moving out, and that is completely okay. Everyone is at a different point of their independence journey, but if you would like to practice some skills from home in the environment where you already are, learning to better care for yourself, learning to better live with your family or other people, this is a great option to do so virtually. We meet at whatever pace is appropriate for you. We can start off once a week, twice a week, but it basically leads into whatever personal goals you would like to achieve. And then I will jump into some of our community employment supports. So as I said, some of the individuals that live with us are also working out in the community, and that's not just exclusive to Cook or Lake County. We do look in, whatever area you live in or would be appropriate for your transportation needs. In addition to the Career Academy, if an individual is ready to receive employment, we do have our career support or our community employment program. This is funded through the Division of Rehabilitative Services, so it's a division that's under the Department of Human Services that provides funding for community employment. They do fund our program and allow us to find community employment opportunities for our individuals. So we assist with your resume building. We will complete applications with you, which can take, some time nowadays. We prepare for your interview. We can also attend an interview with you if you need that additional support. And then we do provide ongoing coaching or advocacy. So we're not there necessarily providing on-site job coaching, meaning we're at your job each shift that you're there, helping you develop the skill, but we do work with you and let's say your manager or supervisor to make sure that you're following the plan and things are going well, and that you're able to advocate for yourself as a person with a disability in that environment. So at Aspire, we like to say that we are bringing boundless inclusivity to all. We want everyone to feel equal, important, and make sure that everyone has equal opportunities to have a good quality life. And we hope to do that through, like I said, our housing, the day program services that we have, community employment, and our life skills coaching. But I know there's probably a couple questions about housing, so I can absolutely take those, and I will leave our contact information up on the screen here. So we've got our ambassador email. I'll also have my cards, so you can have my personal email if you need to send questions. And then we also have our contact information here at the bottom of the phone.
Coordinate both the day
Both
and
options.
and the living piece.
Yes, absolutely. So if you didn't hear the question, how do we coordinate someone who wants both residential services or housing and day program services? And then you had a second part to your question,
Just
the
because
wait
of
list.
Staffing crisis.
Yes,
You know, every place you call, they say their wait lists are.
yes.
And so,
Endless, right? Yes.
can you give us some insight into?
Absolutely. I'll go through the intake process. Let's say you're a person who, like you said, wants both residential and day program services. So one of the things that we'll receive is a referral that'll come from typically the case manager that you're working with for your PUNS listing, the person you call every year. That person is going to send us a referral that has documentation from those assessments you did with them, maybe some additional medical documentation and whatnot, but we'll receive that referral, and all referrals are reviewed individually. So we do not operate with the wait list. We receive the referral, and we'll let you know at that time if we're able to go forward with services. If there's any issues or discrepancies with medications that we can't support, we'll let you know that right away. We don't operate with the wait list, and we do accept resubmissions of referrals. So sometimes we may have someone who is looking for housing, but let's say they're not quite ready to move out. That doesn't mean you can't resubmit a referral within time that they've been able to practice skills or obtain certain goals. We will still review that referral to let you know about services. And as far as someone coming in for both the day program and housing, we do have like a trial period where you come in for initially a tour. So we'll have you come into the day program center, typically first just for introductions, show you the building, make sure you think it's a good fit, and then we'll also show you a tour of the home. So touring both locations, if all checks out, we move on to visits. So typically most people will start off with like a half a day visit or just a couple hours, come in. They'll hang out with either, if they're looking at housing services, they'll hang out with the individuals that live at the house, maybe have a game, pizza night. And then for the day program, you can actually come for, a half day at the day program and see what that would be like. And we do as many visits as we need to make sure the individual is comfortable with that process and to make sure that our clinical team is comfortable and feels that they can support the individual within Aspire. So there is that trial period where we want you to make sure that you're going to be in an environment where you can grow your skills and obtain those goals that you want. Does that answer your question? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I have two questions too.
Of course.
So the first one is, does Aspire own all of the CELAs, or do you ever work with a family that maybe buys a house and then
Yeah.
Aspire would come in and staff it?
Mhm.
That's the first question. And then the second is, do you have any residents whose medical needs are a little more substantial than
Yes.
just, just having medication, things like
Yes.
insulin or feeding tubes or other more invasive.
Yes. So the two questions were, one, do we own our homes, and do we ever work with families who would like to possibly donate a home? And then two, do we work with individuals with alternative or extensive medical needs? So the first question, yes, we do own all of our homes in Cook and Lake County, and yes, we do work with families who have donated a home in the past. So if that's something that's of interest to anyone, I'd love to speak with you. But of course, I would say we probably have 7 homes within, it's probably split 7 and 7 between Lake and Cook. And availability, of course, depends on the time of year. But we do own all of our homes, and yes, we've had donations within the past. And then as far as the medical needs of the individuals that we support, We have people throughout the spectrum of their life, so we have people coming in at, 18, and we have people with us all the way through 60, 70, 80 years old. So, of course, your medical needs can change, extensively over that time. The only things that we currently do not support due to nursing needs are injectable medications. So, like I said, all referrals are reviewed individually. If something were to change and we did have the staff to allow injectable medications, that's something that we would, of course, support at that time. But yes, as of now, everything is individually reviewed for that person's needs.
Getting more specific to her question. Do you take people in wheelchairs?
Yes.
Need complete care such as showering, dressing, lifting, G-tube. They're not injectable medicines, but they get put in the G-tube.
Yes.
Fast.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're completely dependent on care to, eat,
Yeah.
dressing, all that.
Absolutely, yes. I don't believe I mentioned this during the presentation, and I should have, but our Lake County housing is our accessible housing. So I think I did mention our Cook County housing is a city flat style, so there's different floors to the apartments. In Lake County, there are no floors. Our housing is ranch style. So that's to support individuals that have wheelchair needs, walker needs. And we do support individuals that need total assistance with their activities of daily living.
So you do have people in wheelchairs,
Yes, correct.
and your staff will do lifting?
Yes, we have Hoyer lifts, and if you, at the time of, you applying for funding, if that's, you need devices, that's something that we can apply for, and you can possibly receive funding for. But yes, we do have individuals with wheelchairs. It would just be that our Lake County Lake County housing is the housing that's accessible for them to move about with a wheelchair.
So, but then you said something about injectable medicines.
Oh, yes, your second part of your question.
Means a shot, right?
Yes.
What about throwing medicine into a G-tube?
Yes, so that would have to be evaluated. I don't want to say yes, and we haven't, evaluated for an individual case, but typically if someone would need something like that, we have had cases like that in the past.
And what about like turning in the middle of the night, because they're not able to?
I'm sorry.
Do you have staff in the middle of the night there?
Yes, it's 24/7 care.
If somebody needed to be turned?
Yes, turning, or like adjusting an individual? Yes, yes, yes. So 24/7 care, someone is there 24/7, awake, yes.
Question. So you're calling your home CELAs.
Yes.
Are you calling them at all intermediate care facilities? Intermediate care? Because if they need help with showering and self-care, things like that, then sometimes that's not a situation where you would qualify for a CELA. Do you distinguish between that?
Yes, so we are not, you use the term intermediate care? Yes, ICFDD, we are not an ICFDD facility. So we are a CILA, like you said, Community Integrated Living Arrangements. So if you, when you're assuming most people would be applying for funding, there is criteria with that funding. Typically, the individual has to have a developmental or intellectual disability. They're going to look at your health needs, of course, and your IQ. That's three things that I know for sure go into that assessment with the Department of Human Services. If they apply the funding, then we're an organization that accepts funding for individuals with CILA needs. So there's some individuals that may, like you were saying, they're in a wheelchair, they may need support with showering, toileting, help with their activities of daily living. There are individuals with CILAs that need that, but the Department of Human Services is going to determine if you're going to receive the funding, if that makes sense.
So some of your individuals do have situations where they need help with their self-care.
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes. Especially in 24-hour care. That's sort of what we're here to. Some people need total support from that direct support professional, and some people are learning to do it for their own independence. But there are some people who will need that 24-hour care or support, throughout the entirety of their lives.
Your type of care that was somewhat independent, the first thing that you discussed with
Yeah. Who would fit into that? Yes, absolutely. Of course. So typically, this would be someone, like I said, they have the ability to take care of their activities of daily living, so showering, bathing, the basics of daily care, feeding themselves. Just because it is 10 to 20 hours a week, we want to make sure that's something you can do in that situation. And typically, the person who's coming in, they're going to be checking on your medication needs, making sure you're taking your meds. If you are working or involved in other community organizations, making sure that you're going, getting there safely, participating, and that the experience is good for your growth. If there's family visits or things that they need to support, they'll help you with those case management needs, transportation. But everyone's needs are sort of different. But it's basically someone that has a sense of independence and wants to expand that independence without being, completely living alone by themselves. Hi.
I was wondering if there was a way to do the trial day or half day first, because I'm continuing to come to these presentations and learn more of what to expect and what to look for, but, or however, if you haven't been in an environment like that before, it seems like it'd be kind of hard to start.
Agreed.
It's a really long bonding process that my parents and I are learning about, and then depending on how long that goes or it goes through, before you know it, you're really even ready to
Yes.
be in that kind of environment. Like you said, for a half day sounds like something that's a perfect opportunity for me. But is that like, do you have to go through all these other red tape just to have that? Because maybe I
Yes.
would want it after seeing that.
That is a great question and something we run into a lot. The honest answer is that we do have to have a referral in for the trial period. And the reason is just because during that trial period, we are responsible for you while you are in the building with us, whether that's the half day, the full day. We have people who spend a weekend and they spend an evening. So while you are with us, we're responsible for your health, your safety, your medical needs. And unfortunately, we can't take care of those needs if we don't have that referral and documentation that you are looking at Aspire, your case manager knows that you're looking at Aspire. So that is a difficult part of the process. Something we've done to help maybe mitigate that, we do provide like a virtual tour. So we do have an example of, like I said, in Cook County, we have the city flat style, and then in Lake County, we have a ranch style. So we do have like a video tour of each of those locations, and then a video tour of our day program centers to provide, so you can at least see the environment. The other reason is because we have individuals that are, they're actively living in the home and receiving services, and to protect their integrity, we have to make sure we have, information on the people that are coming in for the tour or visit. Of course, of course. And if anyone's interested in, a video tour information sessions, we do hold those twice monthly. We have one on the 29th and the 31st, so I can send anyone a Zoom invitation that would be interested in attending that. Yes, so for PUNs, it would typically have to be the same program. Now, everyone's funding opportunities are different, so I will say that. Don't, not bring it up to your case manager just because of what I'm saying. So always explore your options, I would say. But there is a process called representative payee. I'm not sure if anyone has heard of this term, but when you transfer services from home base to a CEL or another opportunity, that location will become what's called the representative payee. Now, Aspire has two options. Some places do not have alternative options. They have to become the representative payee, but this is where the funds that you were receiving for home base are now going to be applied to the rent for the housing, the 24/7 care that they're receiving, the transportation to the day program, and the service that they're receiving at the day program. And then out of that fund, $60 is left to the individual per month. So, yes, so we have Both, in most cases, I will say. So we do provide transportation to and from the CELA to our day program. There's a transport van at each home that takes them there every morning, comes back in the evening. For individuals that are locally located, I guess, to our day program center, I'm not sure the exact radius, but we do review it with each case if they need transportation to, like you said, another program, special rec, yeah, a job, exactly. There's a role that we have called the life consultant, and that's sort of like the case manager who makes sure all those areas within your life are moving smoothly. So they'll take you to those visits, coordinate family visits, coordinate your work schedule with the day program, but they sort of make sure you're where you're supposed to be and can help you get there as well.
And with like a program with CEL, so and you.
Yes, yes. So the Career Academy is similar funding to a day program, and then the community employment programs, if you're actually seeking a job at this time out in your community, that is the Division of Rehabilitative Services. It's not a place where people are actually working, it is job skills training. So they are training to find employment in the community.
You don't have places that people actually work. You mentioned.
No. So the coffee location, that's a coffee brand that we do have. We're not hiring at this time, but we do periodically. We work out of, it's a location in Chicago. It's called Metropolis Coffee. They have a brewery there. So we do have people that are actively working there and employed. They make their money there. But like I said, that's periodic hiring there. Our community employment program finds you a job within your community or, wherever you're looking.
All right. Well, I probably need to use the microphone, huh? Yeah, she's nodding her head, yes. I'm not very good at microphones, if you hadn't guessed. So thank you so much for coming. If you have additional questions, feel free. You can either email. We've got our contact information over there. This information is going to get posted up on the website. So if you want to refer back to it, we'll have the information up there. We'll also have the slides. So that way, if you have any additional questions. But thank you all for coming, and thank you for speaking.